For more, let's welcome in Niall Stanage, White House columnist at thehill.com, and somebody who was my buddy on Saturday, giving me as much information as he had, obviously, in Washington while we reported on that live event. Niall, you know, not surprisingly, we have House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer saying he will definitely want to meet with the Secret Service and question them. We have House Speaker Mike Johnson saying the same and saying that we need to turn the rhetoric down. Do you believe that because of what happened and how historic this is, that this will be a swift investigation?
I think it will have to be a thorough investigation at the very least, because what happened was so stunning. I mean, it happened, as you know, on our air, as you were watching it on screen. And it was just one of those moments that you know instantly is a historic moment in all the wrong and dark ways, even though it was not as catastrophic as it could have been. Clearly, this is something that is just an instant global story, and we have to get to the bottom of it. There will be real pressure on the Secret Service, I think, over more the preparations rather than the agents themselves, who showed great bravery in the moment. And clearly that is something that politicians in both parties are genuinely eager to get answers to and get to the bottom of.
You know, and I've watched online, obviously on television as well, as some have pointed to, well, the Republican Party has stoked this rhetoric. The Democratic Party has stoked this rhetoric. The comparisons between the two. There are some who are, honestly, earnestly upset because of the kinds of words used in terms of, how people talk about former President Trump or how they talk about President Biden and the kinds of violence that those comments could have incited. Is it the time for finger pointing right now? Or do we need to try another direction, another way?
Yeah, I think we do need to try another way, because the danger in finger pointing, of course, is that you get to feel kind of elevated and noble by saying the temperature should be taken down, while people perhaps on your own team, whichever team that is, continue to bring the temperature up. I mean, that's the danger. That's why we have to find another way forward. Adrienne, if I could just sort of make one personal point. As you know, I grew up in a place that had a violent political conflict for about 30 years. And the consequences of that were catastrophic, including on people who I knew. And the capacity of inflammatory rhetoric to lead to actual acts of violence and to feed into acts of violence is something that I'm more familiar with than I would like to be. And I like the fact that in the United States there are rambunctious discussions of issues that really matter to people, but you have to know where the line is. Otherwise, it's very difficult to get that spectre controlled again.
What do you think will be the next step forward? Because clearly this assassination attempt has eclipsed everything else for the campaigning on both sides, for the DNC and the RNC. What do you predict, if you can, could happen next?
Well, we have to see if we can find a greater sense of decency, honestly, Adrienne, and I mean that beyond the political class. I think we have to see if we can find a way to have these disagreements without demonizing the other side. That's the central point. Now, whether that is going to happen immediately is a whole other question. This is not really a point about demonizing, but we did just get word within the past few minutes that President Biden is going to go ahead with his engagements in Las Vegas on Tuesday and Wednesday, at least one of which is a campaign event. He had earlier postponed a trip that was scheduled for tomorrow. So you're going to have him campaigning on Wednesday while the Republican National Convention is going on. And obviously that will be an interesting juxtaposition.
Yeah, it'll be interesting how America and how lawmakers, as well as these two candidates, move forward. Niall Stanage, thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.